Alright, so we have some uh, news about a potential, which I highly doubt is going to happen. I'm just going to say this off top, off rip. I don't think we're getting a Fire Punch anime, but we have something here basically saying that Mappa, which produced the anime Chainsaw Man, wants to remake all of Fujimoto's works in house, revealed in a IGN interview with IGN France. And quite frankly, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we're getting a Fire Punch anime. Because even if we do, even if we do get a Fire Punch anime, it's gonna be censored so much because if you have never read Fire Punch, I mean, I would say read it, but I don't know. The manga is very confusing. I've read it like a year ago, and I still do not understand the ending of it, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people have with Fire Punch, to where it's just like, okay, what? What do you mean that's how it ends? So, this is just a me thing, right? This is the thing that a lot of people feel, and especially with like a lot of the stuff that happens in the manga, I don't think they're gonna do that. Or if they do, like I said, it would be very censored, and I don't know. I don't know. I didn't realize that they said that Mappa wanted to do this because, Mappa has a lot of things going on. They got Chainsaw Man, they got Jujutsu Kaisen. I think they also have some other stuff that they're working on too. So I don't think that they're gonna take on also Fire Punch as well. I would love if they did because, Fire Punch is a very, a lot of people don't know about it because you have to go out of your way to read it because it's not on Shonen Jump or anything, or my bad, it is, but you have to go online to read it, which at that point it's like half of the audience because most people when they read a manga, they probably read it on their phones because they have their phones with them instead of reading it on a computer or something. Now there probably are people who do that, but the majority of people probably just read it on their phones. It's more easier, it's portable, you can read it whenever, you don't have to worry about being at one spot and just reading it. So yeah, I just think that's also another thing that kind of takes away from that, and also I just think that's what that is. So I don't see this happening. I could be wrong, but hey, if I'm wrong, I would happily love to be wrong, but I just think with all the stuff that happens in Fire Punch, I just think it's not gonna happen. Or if it is, it's gonna be censored really bad to the point to where it's like, because okay, let's say this. Let's say they do anime Fire Punch, but they censor it to high hell, then it could be good because more people could go read the manga because they're like, dude, this is censored so bad. And I'm willing to bet if this does happen and it is censored, a lot of people will just say go read the manga because that way you can experience everything without it being censored and all this other good stuff. So it could bump up sales for Fire Punch, and that's always good. You always want to support the author with the manga they create, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's just see what these comments are saying about this because I think I've nailed it to a T about how this probably is not going to happen, but maybe I'm delusional. Let's see. All right. This was a while ago, I believe, but who knows? Probably not likely. We already have this other works created by different studios, like Look Back and 17/26. Unfortunately, Fire Punch is unlikely to ever get an adaptation, though, because it's a lot to animate and would need a high budget for an anime that wouldn't really be popular and would likely stay niche. If it ever happens, though, I hope Ryu Nakamaya / Chainsaw Man Season 1's director does it. I don't think his style fits Chainsaw Man 100%, but it could be perfect for Fire Punch. That's also another thing too. I just thought about this because I imagine if they were to animate Fire Punch, I imagine a lot of the stuff would probably be 3D and not the good 3D. It'd probably be okay. So if you've seen Attack on Titan, right? And when they would animate the Titans in the show, they would look 3D. Like the scene I was thinking about is when did Mappa start doing Attack on Titan? No. It was Studio Wit that did but I still will see this example. Spoilers for Attack on Titan, but it makes me think of when the rumbling happened and they animated the Titans, and from what I remember, because I have not rewatched like that part of Attack on Titan in a very long time, but I think the Titans looked a little bit wonky, obviously, because the Wall Titans were these gigantic Titans, and they had to use 3D to animate instead of 2D, because I imagine doing 2D with like giant Wall Titans, like with how many there were, would be a lot of work. So they probably did 3D, and I imagine with Agony they probably would 3D him when he like used his powers, but I could be wrong. But I just see that happening as far as like when he does it, like they kind of 3D it, but I could be wrong. Also, Fire Punch is very niche, so I do think basically if they animated it, I don't think it would do that great out here. I think it would do numbers, but not like it wouldn't be as popular as like Chainsaw Man or like Jujutsu Kaisen or anything else like that, because it is very niche. Like I said, a lot of people don't know about it because the only way to read Fire Punch is if you have, you sail the seven seas and you find a place to read it, or you physically buy the manga. Though I don't think you can like physically buy it, or you just read it from like Shonen Jump online. So I could be wrong, but yeah, I definitely do agree with this. Left to come to season 1, I think. My disgust will never end for the disservice season 1 that I call my ass Joseph. Season 1 of Chainsaw Man wasn't even that bad. I like the way it looked. Is that a hot take? I like the way season 1 of Chainsaw Man looked. It didn't look bad to me. No, God, no. The 3D animation season was terrible because it was... Okay, alright. I guess people aren't really vibing with this. Like I said, from what I remember, I haven't watched, like, the anime of Chainsaw Man since it came out, so I don't remember. But from what I remember, the 3D didn't look that bad. And I mean, could they have not 3D'd it? Yeah, but, it's probably using it to save time and effort, but... no shot, it's not adaptable work. It would end up being like the disaster class that the Berserk anime was. Some works are left better without adapting to anime. Okay. I mean, I wish we got a proper thing for Berserk, because Berserk is also... Berserk is not, like... what's the word? Berserk is very popular, but I don't know why we don't have a proper anime for it. Because... we do have one. We have two. We have like the one from like the 90s, and then we have the abstrosity that was Berserk 2016. And yeah, if you've seen it, I probably will have a clip in here, but like it's bad. Like I don't know why they thought, hey guys, you know what we should do for Berserk? Instead of making it 2D and like having it presented to like a really good studio, why don't we make everything 3D and just make it look really bad? I don't remember when. Yeah, so it just looks bad, especially for an anime in 2016, because at that time we had pretty good shows out in 2016. So I don't know why they decided to screw the pooch with Berserk, when honestly I think if that wasn't adapted so bad, Berserk would be more popular. Well, more popular than it is, because Berserk is popular, but if you want to experience Berserk, you only have two options. Technically three, but only two. The first option is to read the manga, which, I mean, probably is the best way to experience it, because some of the manga panels in Berserk are just great and iconic. And then the second option is the 1990s anime, even though that one stops at a certain part. I don't remember. I think it ends after the eclipse. I could be wrong, but yeah. You could watch the 2016 version, but why would you do that? You're putting yourself through hell for no reason. And Berserk is already going to put you through hell, so like, why would you do that twice? Anyways, yeah. Alright. So yeah. What exactly is non-adaptable about Alright, okay. Oh my. Alright, well, to sum this up, I can't read. Alright. Main character constantly on fire punch. Oh, sorry. Main character constantly on fire and nude. Nudity can be worked around by covering with fire. Still makes animation awkward and expensive. That nudity would need to be censored a lot. Heavy gore won't be adapted due to sensitive media isn't as profitable and therefore unattractive to studios. Hasn't been relevant for almost a decade. Public interest outside the community is very low. Goodbye area would be a lot easier to adapt and produce as well as fresher. If anyone tried to adapt it, not wait, if anyone just wanted to adapt it, not just map, but they'd have to, they'd have done so already. If we look back, yeah. So yeah, because you know the show is called Fire Punch, and like the main character Agni has to go to like to set himself on fire. So that's the premise of it, and I didn't even think about that because like you know I imagine you know you're out with your friends or whatever, or like you're at home and you're like, you know what, man, this show Fire Punch, I want to watch it. You know, this looks cool, and the first scene that you see isn't the first scene that you see, but it's like within the first episode, you know, you have Agni being set on fire, like Agni, because in that world, in the world of Fire Punch, I'm just remembering this. The way people would eat food would like to be if like they basically became cannibals, and you know, I don't think studios would be like, yeah, man, you know, we should definitely animate this because everyone rocks with cannibalism, right? Like, dude, that'd be so cool if we did that. So, yeah. Also, like, this right here, I think this right here just like absolutely destroys the idea of this being adaptable. Like, honestly, this makes you think of like when A Kami Got Killed got animated, and they had to do so much stuff to make it somewhat appropriate for TV because like the manga of A Kami Got Killed is fucked. Okay, like there's a character in there, I don't remember his name, but he like spoilers for A Kami Got Killed, but there's a character who what was his name? He wore like a gas mask, bro, like a character from Borderlands, and he dies. You know, R.I.P. I liked him. He was a character. In the manga or in the anime, it's sweet. You know, his wife and daughter go visit him at his grave, and I think that's how it is. Once again, I have not seen A Kami Got Killed in a very long time, but I remember this because this fucked me up when I read this. So in the anime that happens, well, in the manga, so you know he dies, and I think the wife and his daughter go to visit him. But let's just say, because I don't want to put this out here, let's just say there are some clowns who were there, and let's just say, you know, the wife and daughter got essayed and died. So, you know, I would like to imagine that when they were like, all right, guys, Kami Got Killed, I think we could make this into like a show. But then they were like, oh, okay, well, hey, you can't have that. And I'm pretty sure there was like some other stuff in there, but that one just, man, that was a brutal chapter to read. But yeah, so it makes sense. Definitely makes sense, like why, you know, they had to kind of do things their own way with the anime of Kami Got Killed. And I imagine with Fire Punch, they probably would have to take liberties to like not have certain things in there because, you know, I'm pretty sure people don't want to just watch the show and just like, oh, cool, SA's happening. Like, bro, we don't need that. If you already read Berserk, you know, like, you know, we get that in Berserk. We don't need that now. Yeah. Spoiler for Berserk, by the way. But you don't know what I'm referencing. But it's like, anyways. Yeah, moving on. Yeah. So also something. To be fair, the manga doesn't actually show anything explicit, so there would be nothing to censor that the manga hasn't already censored itself. But I do agree it probably won't be adapted, at least not for another decade. Once animation is more respected in the community, I mean, nude sand showing everything. What? Who's bro? Showing everything with both of his legs cut off isn't really safe for work. I don't know what you're referencing. Alright, bro, I don't want to. Oh my god, for the nudity, they would just do what they did with the pool scene and Chainsaw Man. Not really do it at all. Am I crazy, or is it just his butt that's shown? Like, I did read a very different version of Fire Punch. There's no genitals ever shown, no nipples either. Fire Punch is a more tasteful than people give it credit for. It touches on a lot more than taboo Explicitly rather than implicitly. I probably butchered that. The acid being shown is also not uncommon in media. Never read Fire Punch though, so looking at this is interesting. Would you recommend that I read it for the manga or wait for a potential anime adaptation? I mean, bro, you could read Fire Punch. Just know, probably gonna miss your life. And you're gonna be confused by the ending. But I mean, you could because I doubt we're getting an adaptation. Um, hasn't this dream already been crushed since Fuji's other one? No, I'm not serious. I didn't even know that Fuji's other things are being worked on by other studios. Did not know that. With the theater release, I mean, I don't know how they would do that though, because Fire Punch is like 100 chapters or something. So I don't know how they would squeeze all of that stuff in there, unless what they did, if this were to happen, unless they did like what they're doing with the Demon Slayer movie, to where we get one part of the final arc and then we get the other part in theaters for like in another 2 years, and then like they do that one. I don't know, because I don't think they would be able to squeeze in everything about Fire Punch in just like an hour or 2 hours. So it would be a really long movie. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I'm gonna be honest. With the new trend, of anime movies becoming really profitable, they could definitely adapt it into a trilogy and make some 4 fire movies. So cinema, like it's basically what I just said. Given the violent content, maybe a 2-part movie could work, or maybe a streaming series. I guess it could work. Mappa is so goddamn greedy, bro. Maybe if they start juggling between 10 million projects at the same time, they can make an animation at a reasonable pace for their works. I mean, I'm not arguing that. This goal was from Mappa here 4 years ago. We know that he's one of the biggest liars in the industry. Believe in another 4 years, maybe it'll become real. All right, but yeah. So I don't know if this is real or not. I don't even know how recent this tweet is, but I saw this and I was like, I read Fire Punch. I don't think this would ever happen. I could be wrong, like I said a million times. I definitely could be wrong, but after reading a lot of this stuff and just realizing about like all the stuff they would have to like tread over, they're probably not gonna do it. They're probably gonna be like, all right. Once again, I don't know how this works, but I imagine when like a studio animates something, they have to read the source material, or see it, and they're probably like, oh yeah, all right, man, you know what, let's ASMR this, because I have a book on my desk. All right, so I imagine they'll probably be on some like, yes, oh, you want us to animate Fire Punch? Ignore all the noise you just heard. They're gonna be like, oh yes, you want us to animate Fire Punch? Oh, all right, well, let me get that book really quick. Let me just see what's going on here. I don't know how to do ASMR. But they're gonna be like, all right, let me see that book. Let me read the manga really quick. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm committing way too hard for this. But they're gonna be like, oh yeah. Let me see just. Yeah, they're gonna be like, yes, indubitably, oh, the first chapter. Also the main character's on fire. Oh, okay, well, it's okay. I think we can work with that. Oh. Whoa! We can't have that. We can't have that in the anime. Oh no, cannibalism! Like, yeah, I imagine. I hope that came out nice. I'm gonna be mad if that came out like bad. But I definitely imagine that they're like not gonna do all that. But once again, I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. I hope that. I don't even know. Because I don't know if I even want that to get animated, because then it's gonna mess me up all over again, except in animation format. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up here. But just quickly wanted to discuss a potential Fire Punch. I almost said Fireman. A potential Fire Punch anime, which probably is not gonna come out. But I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and just say like, oh yeah, man, this is not gonna happen, even though it's basically what this entire video was. But It could happen, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Once again, I don't know if this is real or not because apparently this guy's like the biggest liar in the industry. But you know, I just wanted to quickly discuss this, and yeah. So Fire Punch anime, would it come out? Or will it not come out? I guess we will have to wait and see.